Hey guys, Eric with the Savvy Campers. Welcome back to another camping trip of ours. We are at beautiful Mini Glacier. If you want to see, you can see the mountains, kind of see what I'm looking at. There we go. Got a nice setup. We do have a video on our campground setup here. We've spent, 7-8 days here so far, so we've had a lot of time to play around with it. But today I'm going to show you this Jackery Explorer 300. We purchased this with our own money to use and review for this trip. Since it was such a long trip, I guess I wanted to have a way to kind of have an inverter to charge things without having to run our main 2000 watt inverter, just because we're boondocking and you never know what the weather is going to be with solar. And then if you run the generator, you have to be here, and and certain generator hours are 8 to 10, 12 to 2, and then I think it's 5 to 7. So do you really want to sit here during those prime times and wait for your stuff to charge? Not really. Let's go ahead and walk you through the box. So we have a 12 volt, 10 amp DC outlet. We've got our display button, and we have input 0, output 0, 77% charge. We've got our input for charging. We've got our USB area, so you can turn that on and off. And then we have our inverter. On the bottom, we just have some information about the capacity and the model number. And then we have a little vent over here for the inverter. It's a 300 watt. And then the back, there's really nothing. So it's nice that they kept all the inputs and screen on one side. I've seen some that have them kind of all over, so it's nice to see that. Now let's look at the accessories they give. Not too many accessories. We've got our power brick, which is, it's a 90 watt output at 24 volts, and I will say it charges at 76 watts, so you're not getting the full output, but there is some loss in there. And then we've got a cigarette adapter, and using the cigarette adapter, that will charge pretty slowly. I will say the cables on these, this is a nice cable, and even kind of this rubber, and it's branded Jackery Power Outdoors. That's nice. This is a good quality product, I would say. I really enjoy it, and I'm glad I used my own money to buy it, so I really don't have any bias. So let's look at this model again. We've used it to charge through the AC unit, our walkie-talkies, batteries for filming. I've used these every night to charge my watch and my phone and iPad and everything. And you can actually have another input here of 60 watts on a USB-C. So you can charge at a little bit higher rate. So let's go ahead and let's plug this in, turn it on, and then we'll plug my phone in. It's probably about full, it's 92%, so we should see the output. There we go, 4 watts. So basically, we can charge whatever we want, cell phone wise, iPad, anything like that. I've put my battery charger for my AA's in here for my camera equipment, and then I've put my walkie-talkie charger here, and I was only pulling, I think, 17 watts at a max. So this does have a good capacity. Now you're not going to run a hairdryer or your battery charger on your trailer or anything like that, but you could run your TV. We use this for my daughter's baby monitor. So instead of running our main inverter, we plugged her baby monitor into this, and then we were able to kind of hang out at camp and walk around and still keep an eye on her. And I will say the range on the baby monitor when you're in a camper and kind of in a wide open space, it's a lot further than you think versus just a house. In our house, it barely works in our basement, but out here, I'd say we have a good 300 feet. Not that we want to be that far away, but I did a range test when my wife was at the camper, and it worked from that far. All right, to turn on the inverter here, you just push this button, and now your inverter's on. So let's go ahead and turn the 12 volt off. Unplug my phone. So the inverter really only pulls 1 watt when nothing's plugged in. So it's really an efficient inverter. You can run that for a long time. Well, there it goes back up, or goes up to 2, but you can run it for a long time. We've used this gosh, I don't know, 8 days for my cell phone and walkie-talkie charging and kind of all of that stuff. And we only got it down to about 29%, and then I did charge it up to about 80% when we had the generator on. It takes, I don't know, I think it took about 3 hours to charge it up fully the first time. When it came shipped, I think it came shipped at about 44%. So not too bad. 100 or 76 watts of charge isn't too bad. It's just fine. You throw it on the inverter when you have it on, or the generator, and it does fine. It's very lightweight. It's compact. I do wish they would have came with a case. A case would have been a nice addition for this to kind of keep everything together. But in reality, to have a case for your accessories and then your power box separate, that's not really been a big issue. I keep this, since it's so small, I actually keep it right next to my bed so that I can use my phone and I can see what, kind of charge it and see what's going on with solar, see what's going on with our battery voltage, things like that. So let's go ahead and get this plugged in again. And then now we can look and see what our solar is doing on the roof, and we've got 70 watts of power, 5.10 amps. You can see today we've put in 18 amp hours, and so it's nice to have this little charger. It's not something you throw in a backpack. It's not something you'd take with you on a hike or anything like that. Like doesn't replace a small little power bank, but this sure does replace kind of using your house batteries at night to charge your phones, your cameras, all of your accessories. This lasts a long time. So I would say this, and we used it frivolously. We left the inverter on all night to charge walkie-talkies, which we probably shouldn't have, but I'd say this would last you a good 12 days or so, charging your phones and iWatches and things like that, GPS, cameras. It's got quite a bit of battery. I was a little worried because I see all these people reviewing the big boys, like the 1500s and stuff, on YouTube, and not a lot of people reviewing the small power packs. And so I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't kind of do what I needed it to do. But this Jackery Explorer 300, it blew what I was looking for out of the park. Just to have something, for the inverter to plug things into, charge your phones, things like that. It really worked well, and I'm really happy with the purchase. We're gonna keep this model and use it at the house too, because we, I don't know, when I'm out in the garage or out in the backyard, it's nice to be able to just plug a light in. We have some LED lights that I used for construction in the basement last year, and I think they're 50 watts, so we can run both of them, 100 watts of power, so we can run them kind of, they're big floodlight things, and so we can run them basically off grid with this little box. And we used our Lion Energy lithium batteries for those when we used them, but I'm excited to have this little power pack to use it to be portable with power. We have another camping trip coming up in a few days, and it's nice to lend this to people that are camping in tents just to charge their items, and we let my in-laws use it for a day because they had a trailer they rented, and it had some lead acid batteries, and of course the people didn't charge it up. So if you rent your RV on RV Share or Outdoorsy, make sure to charge your trailer before people use it, because they came, I think they had maybe 2/3 battery, and by the first day they were down to half battery. So that kind of sucks, leaving someone high and dry. So they were kind of generator junkies on the generator, and I said, hey, why don't you use this to run kind of all your cell phones and stuff, so you don't waste the lead acid, and use the lead acid for your water pump and your lighting, things like that in your trailer. So they borrowed this while they could use the generator for a couple days and get charged up. All right, that is it. If you're looking for a power bank, this Jackery Explorer 300 is a great model. I'll have a link down in the description where you can check it out. The cool thing is you can turn each item on and off, and some of them I've seen, they have a sensor, so it just senses that it needs power, and it gives it. And sometimes that doesn't work with devices, especially if you're charging a power bank. So by having these on and off buttons, it's very convenient. These items are expensive for us to purchase. We purchased this with our own money, as we do many of our other items. So make sure to like the video and leave a comment if you have any other questions on this. We'd be happy to answer them.